What do you call a politician who promises to keep police stations open 24/7 and then closes more than half of them? If you guess Sadiq Khan, congratulations, you've been paying attention to London politics. But if you guess someone who's about to face the political equivalent of a revolt, you'd also be absolutely right. Picture this. Protesters gathering outside City Hall, demanding the mayor's resignation, while Khan himself seems to have developed a sudden case of meeting-avoidance syndrome. This isn't just another broken political promise. This is what happens when electoral pledges meet financial reality, and a collision is messier than a tube strike during rush hour. Welcome back to UK Pancakes, where we serve up political drama with a side of brutal honesty. Today, we're diving into how Sadiq Khan managed to turn a simple election promise into a masterclass in political self-destruction, complete with vanishing acts that would make Houdini jealous and excuses that would make a teenager proud. Let's start with a promise that's now haunting Khan like a ghost at a Tory party conference. During last year's election campaign, Khan's manifesto boldly declared his commitment to ensure the Met is able to effectively respond to the public, including maintaining a 24-hour police front office counter in every borough. It's the kind of promise that sounds reasonable, responsible, and exactly what you'd want from someone seeking to run one of the world's major cities. Clear, specific, measurable, the holy trinity of political promises that actually mean something. Fast forward to today, and that promise has aged about as well as milk left out in the August heat. The Metropolitan Police has just announced that the number of 24-hour police stations in London will be slashed to just 8. 8! In a city of nearly 9 million people, Khan thinks 8 24-hour police stations will suffice. That's roughly one 24-hour station for every million Londoners, which sound about as adequate as one umbrella for the entire population during a British summer. But wait, it gets worse, and in Khan's London, it always gets worse. The total number of front counters where the public can actually speak to police officers is dropping from 37 to just 20. To put this in perspective, back in 2017, there were nearly 75 front counters available to the public. That means Khan has now overseen the closure of more than 70% of police front counters during his tenure. It's like watching someone systematically dismantle the very infrastructure they were elected to protect. The math here is brutal and unavoidable. In 2017, 75 front counters. Today, 20 front counters. That's not gradual reform or strategic restructuring. That's wholesale demolition of public services. Khan closed 38 front counters in his previous term, leaving most boroughs with just one 24-hour station. Now he's finishing the job with the thoroughness of someone who clearly believes Londoners don't deserve accessible police services. Here's where the political theatre becomes pure farce. All of this destruction is supposedly necessary because of what Assistant Commissioner Matt Twist calls a £260 million black hole in the Met's budget. That sounds dramatic and unavoidable until you realize that these closures will save a measly £7 million. Let me repeat that for those in the back. They're gutting police accessibility across London to save £7 million out of a £260 million shortfall. That's like trying to fix a burst dam with a Band-Aid while claiming you're solving the flooding problem. The economics are so absurd they border on comedy. £7 million sounds like a lot, until you realize it's roughly 2.7% of the supposed budget deficit. It's like selling your car to pay for a parking ticket. Technically, it addresses the immediate problem, but the solution creates far bigger issues in the original crisis. Matt Twist tried to justify this madness by telling the London Assembly that they had to choose between keeping officers on London streets where they can respond to the public and retaining the current position on all front counters. This is a classic false choice beloved by politicians who want to avoid taking responsibility for their failures. It's like saying you have to choose between having doors or windows in your house. A competent leader would find a way to have both. The usage statistics paint an interesting picture that deserves closer examination. Twist claims that fewer people are using front counters, especially overnight, with crime reporting through station offices dropping from 12% in 2012 to 5% today as people prefer phone or online reporting. On the surface, this sounds reasonable. Adapt services to changing usage patterns. But there's a chicken and egg problem here that no one seems willing to address. Did people stop using police front counters because they preferred other methods, or did they stop using them because Khan kept closing them? When you systematically reduce accessibility and convenience, of course usage drops. It's like closing half the bus stops and then claiming reduced passenger numbers justify closing even more stops. The logic is circular and self-serving. But here's where the story takes a deliciously dramatic turn. During what was supposed to be an urgent London Assembly meeting about these closures, Khan himself was nowhere to be found. The man who made the promises, who oversees the decisions, who will ultimately be held accountable by voters, couldn't be bothered to show up and defend his choices. Instead, he sent his deputy, Keir, to face the music like a human shield at a political battlefield. Conservative leader Susan Hall didn't mince words, branding Khan a coward for his absence and asking the obvious question, since the mayor is making this decision, why isn't he here? It's a question that cuts to the heart of political accountability. If you're not willing to defend your decisions in person, maybe you shouldn't be making those decisions in the first place. The deputy mayor's performance under questioning was a masterclass in political embarrassment. Initially, she appeared not to know how many counters would be axed, which is either incompetence or an attempt to minimize the political damage through strategic ignorance. When pressed during Wednesday's emergency meeting, she admitted she'd known about the proposal since June or July but had done nothing to stop them. Think about that timeline. Schwartz knew for months that Khan was about to break a major election promise, knew the political firestorm it would create, and her response was nothing. She sat on the information like someone watching a slow-motion car crash while refusing to shout a warning. It's the kind of political negligence that makes you wonder what exactly these people think they are being paid to do. The Met's attempted spin are almost insulting in their transparency. They claim the move will save 3,752 hours of police officer time per month, allowing resources to focus on tackling crime and putting more officers into neighborhoods. This is classic bureaucratic doublespeak. Frame service cuts as service improvements and hope the public doesn't notice the sleight of hand. But let's examine this claim critically. If closing front counters saves police officer time, why not close all public-facing services and claim massive efficiency gains? The logic doesn't hold up because accessibility and responsiveness are fundamental parts of effective policing. You can't serve the public while simultaneously making it harder for the public to reach you. Schwartz's official response reads like it was written by a committee of people who've never had to actually use police services. She talks about keeping Londoners safe and neighborhood policing at the heart of communities while simultaneously making it harder for those communities to access police services. It's like promising better customer service while closing most of your customer service centers. The blame shifting is equally predictable and pathetic. According to Schwartz, this is all the fault of over a decade of cuts worth over $1 billion under the previous government. While it's true that police funding has been squeezed, using this as an excuse for breaking explicit election promises made in full knowledge of the financial constraints is political cowardice of the highest order. Khan knew the financial situation when he made his promises. He had access to the same budget information, the same forecasts, the same constraints that exist today. Either he was lying when he made the promise, or is lying now about why he can't keep it. Either way, the person who suffers is the ordinary Londoner who voted based on commitments that have now evaporated faster than morning mist. The protest response represents something deeper than anger about police station closures. It's frustration with a political system where promises are made to win elections and then broken with bureaucratic shrugs and finger-pointing. When protesters demand Khan's resignation, they're not just objecting to the specific policy failure. They're rejecting the entire culture of unaccountable governance that treats voters like children who can be placated with excuses. The timing couldn't be worse for Khan's political reputation. London is already grappling with rising crime rates, concerns about public safety, and questions about the effectiveness of police response. Reducing police accessibility in this context isn't just bad policy, it's politically suicidal. It sends a message that the mayor's office is more concerned with balancing books than protecting people. What makes this situation particularly galling is a complete absence of creative problem-solving. A competent leader facing budget constraints would explore alternative funding sources, efficiency improvements, or innovative service delivery models. Instead, Khan's response is a policy equivalent of giving up, just close things down and hope the problem disappears. The broader implications extend far beyond police station opening hours. This episode demonstrates a fundamental breakdown in the relationship between electoral promises and governing reality. When politicians can break explicit commitments with this level of casual indifference, the entire democratic process becomes a charade where voters are asked to choose between competing sets of lies. Thanks for watching UK Pancakes. If Khan's vanishing act and broken promises made your blood boil, smash that like button, subscribe for more political reality checks, and let me know in the comments whether you think protesters are right to demand his resignation.